Welcome to episode 8 of the Moms That Read podcast. I'm Katarina.
I'm Kaylee.
And I'm McKenzie. And today we are going to kind of recap our Onyx Storm theories now that we've had a couple weeks to think about it and to kind of sit in it a little bit to see where our thoughts are right now.
Gather them.
But
first, let's talk about our recent reads. What are y'all reading?
Okay, so I just, quick little, because you listened to it, the Honeymoon Crashers, which is kind of the spinoff
We all did. Did you finish?
Yeah,
Okay,
it was really good.
Yeah, it was good.
It was cute. Like, I'm glad it wasn't longer.
Yeah.
I don't think I would have liked it if it was any longer.
Honestly felt like a pretty lengthy book.
Yeah.
I mean, I know it wasn't full length, but I mean, it was still like a 6-hour listen.
That was my very first audiobook ever.
Really?
Yeah. But it was kind of fun because it was like a production. Like, it wasn't just like one person monotone.
It was
the
fun.
thing that confused me about it was sometimes it was one person and then they would bring the production into it. And I was like, I need y'all to decide what y'all are doing because this is really confusing. But Christina Lauren, in case you haven't, it's like a spinoff of the Unhoneymooners.
Yeah.
It was cute.
It was cute.
I finished Dark Fae, which is the first spinoff series in Zodiac Academy. But you have to read like the first 3 and then start that one. It was fine. I like Zodiac Academy better than this series so far. Zodiac Academy is very like Harry Potter type. This is more murder mystery at a school.
Interesting.
So like mafia.
How old are these people?
Like 22-ish.
Okay.
Yeah, they're not like kids.
Okay.
Yeah. No. It's like a upper college.
I just started reading Dreamwalker by Brittany Gossett.
Oh, yeah.
And I don't know how I feel about it so far, but I'm like only 2 chapters in. So obviously, I started chapter 4 before I came here. It's about a 17-year-old high schooler. So that's a little odd to me. I thought it was going to be like more 20s type, like most of the romances are, but we'll see. I was telling Katarina it's kind of nightmare-esque because she has nightmares and whatever it is, the king of nightmares is trying to drag her into the nightmare.
Oh.
Yeah. So we'll see. To be determined. We'll update later.
Is it in today's time or is it?
It's very modern high school.
Oh.
Yeah. Her mom and dad were telling her to get up for school. She had friends. She was going to high school. So we'll see.
Oh,
this is very different.
Yeah. I don't think I've read something like that.
It's very different. So we'll see.
Interesting.
To be determined.
Nice. Well, y'all want to dive in? I feel like we've had, a month?
Yeah.
It's been about a month. And I still feel like I'm wrapping my head around it.
Yeah, same.
I tried to go back and look at all of my beautiful tabs and I'm like going back and looking at them and I'm like, what? Why did I do this? What did I mean when I did this? It made sense in my head when I did it. And now I'm like, what? So
interesting.
Yeah.
I did go back and look at a couple of things that we had said in the previous one. So the one thing we were all right about, or well, we predicted, and that is going viral again. Zayden leaving Violet like in New Moon from Twilight.
I just want to say that within 3 days of the book releasing, and someone commented and said,
like side eye,
spoiler,
spoiler, and we were like, no,
we posted this weeks ago.
This was literally just supposed to be a joke.
Yes.
But
had no clue that they had actually finished the book. And
well,
they
and
were
it's weird.
Telling us it was a spoiler.
It like came back up right after the book came out, which made sense, but then it like went chill for a little while, and now this video is like going crazy. I don't understand.
I've never felt more accurately represented by that video though. Like that's so true.
So
and I
crazy.
remember being like, Kaylee, there's no way that's happening, and I will be so angry. And
listen, it happened, and we all sat there like Bella Swan.
We did. I'm still sitting there like
all
Bella
sat there.
Swan.
Crazy.
And then we were all wrong about her signet.
Yeah.
I think everybody was wrong about her signet.
Okay, but do we think, because we're only seeing the beginning of her signet, that it's going to end up manifesting into more of a precog?
I think both of her
intrinsic. Yeah, that's what
I think both of her signets are stronger than what they are.
Oh,
absolutely.
So that's what I think. And I think that's literally all we
were wrong on a lot.
The whole podcast was basically not correct information.
And of course, like Rebecca Yarros in all of her speaking things that she does, like she's like, yeah, I don't read your theory. You all are crazy for thinking these things. And it's so frustrating because I've never read something where there's so much that you can try and predict because she's good at Easter eggs.
Oh, yeah.
She's so good at it.
She's
like
Taylor Swift
she
good.
Is Taylor Swift good. And there's still stuff we don't know. I'm like, I want to see your outline on your massive whiteboard. I would love to see it.
Well, in case you haven't seen the videos going around on TikTok, the first 4 songs Rebecca released to describe book 4. So we should just inform our lovely listeners about those songs. Actually, no, it was 3. First 3 songs. It's Down Bad by Taylor Swift, But Daddy I Love Him by Taylor Swift, and I Can Fix Him by Taylor Swift. And she also says that Someone We Love dies in book 4.
I have theories on who I think that is.
Do you?
I don't.
I think it's Taryn.
No,
I've
I don't
said that.
think so.
I've said that. But
You take that back.
I don't want it to be Taryn, but
anything can happen at this point.
Exactly.
I don't question anything. Like, I'm like, she'll do it. She has no shame in taking someone that we absolutely love and ripping our hearts out.
the reason I think it's him is I don't think it would kill her because she still has Andarna.
Yeah.
If it's someone that we absolutely love, who hates Taryn? No one, right?
No one.
No one.
I don't know. And with his age, I just think it's possible.
Okay, so question, because she also spoke on this. Who do y'all think was the brother that turned Venin?
I think it's Bodhi.
I think it's Bodhi too.
Do you? I have no guesses because I have no
He
idea.
is
the only
Xaden's
reason
shadow, for one.
And the only reason I think it is because he would not have married Violet to leave her as Duchess of Tyrrendor if Bodhi was not going to be available, because he kept talking about keeping Bodhi safe because Bodhi was second in line all the time. He always was like, no, you can't do that. You're next. Like, you have to protect Tyrrendor. And I think that that's the only reason that it's Bodhi, is because of that. She talks about someone who's always searching for something.
Right.
And who was missing in the last couple pages.
She said, pay attention to someone that was missing at the end. Someone who, whatever they've been given isn't enough. And then she said, when you turn Venin, it's always because you need more power.
So Bodhi is like Xaden's shadow. And so I bet he wants to be more in the spotlight than he is because...
Well, you know, his song that Rebecca Yarros gave him is I Look in People's Windows. Have you ever listened to that song?
No.
What? On Tortured Poets?
Well, I guess I'm going to go listen to it on the way home.
So literally the whole point of the song, and I'll have to pull up some lyrics, is like, I look in people's windows, looking at it from the outside in.
Yeah.
Like, always like longing to be a part of it. And it's talking about like Christmas parties and all these things and like wanting to be a part of it, but not being able to be.
And she was talking about how in the books we only get one POV, Violet's POV. So we're only looking at everything through her eyes.
Right.
And so we only see what she wants to see,
Yeah.
not what is actually
Happening.
happening.
Which is why when we came back to that last chapter, there's 17 things going on, and all we know is that Violet was just unconscious.
Right.
Like,
Yeah.
what the actual heck
Yeah.
just happened?
It's also interesting, too, that on the page in the front of the book that talks about their signets, Garrick and Bodhi, who are relatively big characters, are not on it.
Yeah.
We know their signets. And it's not like when they're Venin, they lose their signet. So why are they not on there? There's
All right.
obviously a reason. So
Why, Rebecca?
it's got to be, maybe it's her way of trying to lead us to believe it's one of those two,
Yeah.
but not narrowing it down.
One of the theories I was going to tell y'all about that I had seen was, why does Imogen keep her hair pink? Do you think
Does
she
it matter?
dyes it pink to cover that it's silver?
That would be interesting.
I saw that and I was like, why would she dye it pink?
Right.
If it was not all silver, why would she dye it pink?
But if it was silver, does that mean she's been dedicated?
I don't know.
Because isn't that the whole thing? I want to go back and reread the book in a couple months when I've been away from it long enough, because there is a whole section when it talks about the dedication
That made no
and with
sense
the
the first time.
Yeah.
the temples.
Because Violet's only been dedicated a touch and she only had the
Yes.
ends of her hair silver.
and
so
the priestess that was there had
Full
the hair
silver.
just
So if Imogen was dedicated and she dyed her hair pink to cover that,
Theophany was silver, too.
yeah.
and that's because she was part of the priestess.
Did we figure something out?
That is one of my theories. Like, one of the things I do think, because Rebecca always is wanting to like call us out, and she's like, you're never going to guess what's happened, blah, blah, blah. Like, it's really hard for you to do that. But like, I think there is a connection between Violet's connection to the Dune because of the priestess. And like, I think this is connected to reversing Venin, because the whole
For
time
sure.
at the end with Theophany, it talks about like, why would I want to be a priestess like when I can become a god and use the power directly from the source?
Right.
And she was like, well, why do you think I've never gone back to the temple? Because the way she talks about it alludes to the temple having to do with her being able to directly get power from the source.
Okay, so this just kind of popped in my head as we were talking. On the last one we talked about when we did theories, we talked about the silver streak between Taryn and Violet. Is it possible that Taryn has some kind of relationship with all of that, and that's why he chose her?
Different, like the different breeds of dragons. I need to go back and look for that now because it talks about Taryn's like lineage and where he comes from, and it could be closer to this, like the Isles.
I don't feel like I've seen that anywhere. It just kind of popped in my brain.
Yeah.
He always says, "I know who and what you are."
I have another
And maybe that's why
theory
he picked her.
written in here to go with that.
Okay, go for it.
But are we ready for this? I don't know. Because I know exactly who and what you are. I get behind this theory. I don't know. It might not be right. It might not make sense to anybody else. But I saw it and I was like, oh my God, that clicked. That makes sense. Yeah. And I saw it on Moon Cycle Stories on TikTok. I just wanted to give them credit because my brain does not work this way. I would have never thought of this. But Taryn's age in Fourth Wing Chapter 8 is a little over 100 years old. So like 105 to 110 years old. Naolin was his first rider. Violet was his second. So maybe dragons bond at like age 20 because that's how old. I'm butchering these names, so sorry. Riddick's dragon, Atrum.
Is it Atrum or Otrum?
I have no idea.
I don't know.
Whatever his name is, was 22 whenever he bonded Riddick. So about the same age as the
Probably why
cadets.
he has that crazy personality because he's like a
Yeah.
Yes, exactly.
But the theory I had seen was everybody says Brennan and Naolin were lovers, but the math just doesn't math with how old Taryn would have to be to bond with him and then be lovers.
Is that the only person that he's ever bonded with, though?
Yeah, he's only ever bonded 2 riders. And so the lineage thing, I know who you are, Naolin's granddaughter. The theory is that Naolin is their grandfather or their great-grandfather or something. Because if Naolin was young when Brennan saved him, Taryn would have to be 80 or 90 when he bonded the first time, not 20, which could be possible.
That makes sense, yeah.
But Taryn was going to bond to family, so he chose Violet. So if that is also true, Violet would get a third signet from a family line dragon.
Well, going into that, we think Xaden's going to have a third.
But also, if that is true, Violet could also have a third.
That's true.
We're not assuming that Naolin was roughly the same age as Brennan. We're assuming he was older.
Correct.
See, I have a theory that doesn't go along with that. It's kind of the opposite, that they were a couple or something, right? And that Naolin was Venin and made Brennan turn. Was it the end of Fourth Wing or the beginning of Iron Flame where Brennan was introduced as Iserai, last name? Like Colonel Iserai?
Yeah.
There's a theory, too, that was Naolin's last name and that they were married. And he needed a last name to go by, so he used his married last name. So that would make sense, too. And it goes along with the rune on his hand as well.
Yeah.
Because people think that that's possibly a way that Brennan is looking into, what is it? That he's looking...
I see your wheels turning.
But, okay, you said it when...
that Naolin's watching, essentially, through the rune. I think it's either or. Like,
it's either or.
Like, they're not the same.
Yeah.
I don't know what to think.
See, I saw it and I was
Wait.
like, this makes sense because Taryn would have had to be like 80 or 90 when he bonded for the first time instead of like the 20 that it seems
Which is
like
not
every other-
impossible, I guess.
Right. That's not impossible at all.
How old do they live? Do we know?
I don't. A while.
I mean, if they
A
live to be
long
1,000 years
time.
old, it really
Yeah.
probably doesn't matter when
A
they first
long
bond.
time.
Because
I
Melgren's dragon is the oldest, right?
I think so.
And he's got some decades on.
Yeah.
I think a long while.
Yeah.
So he could have bonded for the first time late, but it's also possible he bonded
Well,
at
I
the
mean,
same time.
and Darna sat in her egg for 600 years.
So is dragon time the same time as ours? Maybe not.
Probably not.
That's a good idea too. I hadn't thought about that.
I did have one other thing to talk about because it kind of ties in this whole thing with Ark. Like,
Who I love.
I love him. And because it's only from Violet's perspective, at the end when it was talking about the dragon eggs that are missing, I think there has been a behind the scenes
Plan, plot.
something going on the whole time that they've been back at Basgiath. The one thing that I kept thinking about was her path was not set. And the priestess mentioned it when she visited the Isles and she was like, oh, well, your path's not set. You've not chosen. And then the priestess said the same thing again to Ark when she gave the gift to Ark to give to Violet when it was dark. And she was just like, not many people are allowed to use because of the Wrath of Dune, but her path is not set. And I'm like, what path are we talking about? Because her path is still not set at the end of Onyx Storm.
Right. I don't know what path they're talking about.
I don't know. That's my question. Is she supposed to turn Venom? Because then when Mira and Brennan are back at Aricia, and Violet overhears them arguing about her going to visit the grandmother. She's talking about how Mira thinks that Violet is going to turn because she was like, it's either going to be her heart within her or for her. And Xaden pops in and is like, well, my heart is for you and I've already turned. Mira was like, well, I don't know what she meant. Did she mean within her or did she mean for her? Because if it's within her, then Violet's going to turn.
I think it's possible she does. And I think she'll do it because of Xaden. Like, she loves Xaden so much that she might think that it's the only way to save him.
If you think about the lyrics to I Can Fix Him, No Really I Can, like,
she thinks she can even though she can't.
So she's going to turn Venom to get to him so she can try and fix him.
Yeah.
I think she's willing to do that because she's like, it literally said the heart within her or for her is like, will turn.
But is she already part Venom anyway?
If you get dedicated, though, does it have anything to do with Venom?
I don't know.
Theophany
Right.
made it a point to say she separated herself from that because she wanted more access to the source and the temple was preventing her from doing that.
There's also the thought, though, that Violet's dad was Venom. And so is it possible that it's a lineage thing, too? Does part of it get passed down to your children? I don't know.
I don't know.
I don't think weird that he had the two names.
Yeah, I don't think it's a lineage
Two
thing.
names is really confusing
weird
to me. But
and
then, like,
he took her last name.
Right.
Why?
I don't know.
Is that a cultural thing?
What is her family from? Do we know much about the grandmother?
Or is there a reason that he didn't want to be associated with his original last name?
Because he came from the Isles. Didn't he come from the Isles? Isn't that insinuated in like...
I think so.
I think so. But they vaguely mentioned the grandmother and how they don't really have a relationship with them, but that she would know.
And she didn't want her being dedicated.
Right.
Yeah. That's why she didn't talk to them.
I think the grandmother is going to come into play somehow the next book. I just
Wait,
feel
is that his mom or her mom?
I think it's her mom. Right?
It's her mom.
Yeah.
Do you think, because now, like, I feel like we've kind of forgotten about her mom having a fever when she was pregnant.
Yeah.
Do you think she was originally trying to dedicate Violet before she was born?
I don't know.
Like,
maybe.
That fever.
Because she came out with a silver streak, didn't she?
Well, Mira talks about it not becoming visible until after she was a certain age. So was that fever to deter us from thinking that and to make us think that she was part something? Like, I feel like that's something Rebecca would do. I'm going to let you think that this is what's happening, but it's
red herring.
not actually true. I'll give you another laugh. Did I tell y'all what I thought Theophany's name was?
No.
Theophany?
Theophany.
I kept saying it in my head when we first recorded. And you said Theophany first. I was like, oh my God. I'm so glad I did not say that first.
Did you see that thing I shared to our Instagram stories the other day? Hit Fergie.
Yes.
That's literally all that comes into my
You know
mind.
what's so funny is there's so many TikTok videos of people like pronouncing the names. Why does Rebecca not just come out with a video of her pronouncing the names?
I don't know, because maybe she don't even know how to do it. She just picked them. Listen, no hate.
Just likes the way they look. Sorry,
Yeah.
Rebecca, but
Sounds
I need
good.
you to actually say what you wanted to say, because people are like, oh, well, this is the Gaelic pronunciation. And she's like, well, I actually like how you say Basgaeth instead of...
What is it supposed to be? Basgaeth?
Something like that. But she makes it sound like it's Gaelic, but her version.
Well, the girl that I shared on Instagram was telling us the meaning behind the name, and that all made sense. All of them made sense.
Yeah.
Except for Rhiannon's. Hers was anger.
Sounds like it would mean like fire, so that would make sense.
But it's always a representation of the person.
Right.
Yeah. So maybe Rhiannon's not who we think she is.
I don't know. Maybe that says something. She's like, the only thing I don't understand is why hers means anger, and she hasn't given us any indication of that
she's
yet.
The most level-headed.
And so I'm like, well, what does that say about her then? What's going to change about that? Yeah.
Oh, I like that thought.
You might be honest
about
that.
Yeah.
Well, okay. Speaking of things having meaning, what do y'all think about the gift that everybody got?
Okay, so Rebecca makes it a point to say that the 12 gifts mean something.
Dane getting smacked was for the people.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
But like, what did he see when he got smacked?
Right. He saw something. He had to see something.
His power is obviously growing. And we don't see that until the end of Onyx Storm with his interaction with Sloane.
Okay, side note for Dane. I wonder if he can tell us what happened those 12 hours if he touched Violet.
Oh, absolutely.
If she was like, touch my face.
Probably.
Well, I wrote down all of the gifts because when she was like, all 12 gifts have meaning, I'm like, okay.
Okay, go for it.
So Mira got wine. Marion got 2 orange tunics. Dane was smacked, obviously, but like, what could he see with that? Garrick got a rusted steel bucket.
I wonder if that means he's not as good. Not from an evil standpoint, but he's rusty. He's not quite as good as Zayden. Does that make sense? I don't know.
Is Mira gonna age like fine wine? Like,
or maybe she's just dealt with a lot of junk and needed a
drink.
good old
Or
bottle.
wine is like red, like blood.
Is she gonna die?
I think
Blood
one of the
spilled?
siblings will die. I really hope it's Brennan though. What about the two orange tunics? What?
Yeah, that's what I don't understand. Art got a fractured hand mirror, and then we find out later on that he's a precog.
Right.
A mirror is a seeing reflection or a looking glass into something.
But fractured.
But fractured. So is what he is seeing fractured?
Not right?
Right. Oh, I just thought about that.
If it's not, then all of this stuff that could have happened might not actually be legitimate.
Right. What if he is seeing something that's not true
And going by it, thinking it is.
Right.
Or seeing something that someone wants him to see.
Oh, I just got chills.
What if he's seeing
we
something?
only have 2 more books.
Yeah.
I feel like
I know.
there's so much unanswered.
Yes.
I just feel like that is such a villain thing to do. That has happened in some movie where he's doing what he thinks he is supposed to do in his head, what he's seeing. And
With
then
Ursula?
maybe, yeah, Ariel, Little Mermaid it over here. And at the end, it's like you did exactly what I planted and I wanted you to do. Oh, it's kind of like throwing a glass at the end of the series.
Oh, I haven't read it.
Okay.
Okay, well, just letting you know, that's kind of like the end of Throne of Glass.
I think his definitely has a bigger
meaning.
meaning to it. Okay, so then Violet got the compass, and it said that the needle doesn't point near north. So I don't think it's a compass for that reason. But also, like, we know a compass is ran by the magnetic field of Earth. What if, because like it's magic, it's ran by magic, there's not a lot of magic on that specific isle. There's more magic in the entire continent where Navarre is, but I think it's a compass for something else.
I've seen where it's a compass to lead Violet to Zayden.
Do we
See,
think
when
Rebecca's that cheesy?
I don't know.
I don't know. My thought when you said that was it was telling us that she's not perfectly
Like where she's supposed
straight.
to be going.
Yeah,
She's not on the right path.
that, or she's
Oh,
not
'cause her
perfect.
path is
Yeah,
not
her path
set.
is not set yet.
Oh, maybe I was thinking more like perfectly good, like
okay.
straightforward. You know what I mean? I don't know.
I feel like it might
That
be
makes
more
sense
like
too,
she's
though.
not on the right path
Because I thought it was
her path
interesting
is
where
not
it was
set.
like near north.
Yeah.
Like it's not
Almost
north,
there,
it's
but-
near north. Yeah, it's almost there.
Ooh,
Ooh.
And the guy, when he gave it to her, said, use it wisely.
and you can't use a perfect
So
compass,
right. So he knows that they have a purpose for
Yeah.
it. Rick got he got a kiss on the cheek, on both
course
cheeks.
he did.
I think that just says about
Kat
who
got
he
a
is,
long
honestly.
necklace with a ruby on the end, which I thought was interesting. And then
blood
Drake
ruby?
got
Oh, I was thinking like lifetime, like how long her life is, maybe. Like she has a long life. I don't know.
I don't know. Is that what a ruby means?
I have no
I
idea.
don't know. That was just the first thing that popped in my head.
Drake got broccoli, who he loves.
Why did he get a cat?
In a world of dragons, there's broccoli. And I'm like, Rebecca, what you doing with this?
But also, cats have personalities.
They do.
So I wonder if it's something
Cats
with his
have 9
personality.
lives.
Oh, that's true too.
Okay, rubies have many meanings, including love, passion, protection, wealth, and vitality. The deep red color of rubies is said to represent intense emotions. And then her boyfriend got
And
killed.
then literally Traeger got an arrow in the heart.
Oh my god.
Awkward.
Awkward.
Yeah.
Here's a ruby
And
for your
Traeger-
boyfriend getting
Traeger
murdered.
Got the arrow. That was, I shed a tear. I was not ready because I was like, you know what? Good for you, Kat. And then all of a sudden, yeah, I was like,
dead.
wow.
That made me
what
so
a,
sad.
Just rip it out, Rebecca.
Rip it. Stomp on
So
it.
I think there's a lot that we're going to see with this because then it also talks about, Zayden got an empty glass box.
An empty glass.
Maybe that means
Empty.
to store her compass in. He said that maybe you can store your compass in it.
Oh.
But an empty glass
I figured
box.
when he turns venom, he becomes empty inside.
Glass is easily shattered too.
That's true. This would be a really fun one 2 years from now or whatever to come back to and see if we can figure out what they actually meant.
Yeah, that would be.
That would be fun.
So,
Ooh, that's
because she talks
interesting.
about it going back to Aricia, because that's also where I would like to say, whenever I was reading through it the first time, and it referenced the missing stone
Yeah.
on the hilt of the sword. I literally wrote down, is there a
Engagement ring?
Yeah.
Yeah.
So when that
did
happened at
catch
the end,
that.
I was like,
I didn't catch
"What?"
that either. Mackenzie got that
Woo!
Easter egg.
Right over my head.
Another thing I will say, with all the allusions to her hair in a crown, I was like, she's obviously going to rule something. That was something that I had said from the beginning. But like, the Duchess of Tyrandor, I don't think that's where she's headed. I do think that is a fruition of it in some way, but I think there's something bigger.
I still think she's going to be queen of the skies, command the skies.
Command the skies. That's what the Venom have always said to her.
This may be really, really off, but
Let's see if we have the same one, because I have one.
I highly doubt. I'm probably really off. This is probably going to sound stupid, but what if the Venom are not as bad as we think, and then by the end of the last book, she rules the Venom? That sounds ridiculous, right?
No.
You don't think so?
I think anything's
what if-
possible with Mama Yaros.
What if what if they're
absolutely.
fighting something that's actually
Well, we all
good?
know that
You know what I mean?
Melgren
Right.
is not good, and all of them are not good, and
Yeah.
Venom is
The
fighting
only thing
against
that
them,
makes me
so.
think that they're not good is that Atos has been working with them, and he is not a nice person.
Okay, so a book I just finished, The Fifth Wave. In the book, these people come to Earth essentially, and they are taking the last survivors of the world to be their army, and they're brainwashed to think that they're the good guys.
Mm-hmm.
What if all these people, like Violet and all them, are being brainwashed to believe the Venom are bad, but the Venom are actually the good ones?
Well, Jack
That sounds
Barlow
crazy,
is
right?
bad.
We think. I mean, yeah, I think so. But
Jack
if
Barlow
it's
was
that
in a
theory,
box the whole time. Why will he not die? Like,
I know.
I don't know.
Again, that theory's
what,
crazy. But
What island were they on where nobody could talk to their dragons except for
I don't remember the names
Violet?
of the.
that was where they
Hedotus was-
it was
Zayden's
Hedotus.
mom. Was it
no,
Hedotus?
No. It was before Hedotus. It
Yeah.
was where they got all of her dad's writings.
Okay. I don't remember the name of the island, and I'm very bad with names. But I was trying to look at the theory of why Jack would always say the higher-ups want her. Theophany wanted Andarna because
Yeah.
the Irids...
Are connected to the Venom.
No, the Irids command the sky. The Venom draw power from the ground. The Irids draw power from the sky. That's why the Irids are so mad at all the other dragons, because they draw magic from the sky. And that's, I guess, the correct thing to do for dragons. But the dragons, which maybe the dragons are connected to the Venom somehow.
Well, I have that the Irids are linked to the Venom. I feel like that was a pretty common thought, though, right?
Well, I don't think the Irids are linked to the Venom. The
Venom
Irids,
always backed away when the Irids were there. Like
I think the Irids can kill Venom.
I think they can because
okay.
it was Andarna's fire that killed the one Venom.
Yeah.
Yeah, that makes sense.
And the Venom, or not the Venom, but the Irids, the fact that they could talk to anyone on that island, they're very magical beings. And they were the ones that left the entire coven and said, okay, we're going to give you this experiment to see how you can actually bond with humans.
Well,
I think they're extremely powerful.
back to the Command the Sky, Violet could talk to Terran while they were on that island.
which I thought was
And
so
the
Yeah.
only other one that could do that was the Irids.
Ooh.
They could access the power from the sky. So maybe that's why the Venoms want her, is because they know she can access the power from the sky.
Oh, because in the continent they have to access the power from the land.
Yeah, and that's why she said while they were at the island, it feels like there's more power here. And Terran was actually like, no, there's less.
What if? Okay, so the dragons, they are used as a way to channel power so that people don't become too powerful and end up like Venom. What if the dragons are greedy?
Yeah.
I think there is a side to the dragons that we
Yeah.
obviously don't know yet. And this kind of brings up all the time, Daddy Sorengale, I keep forgetting his name, Asher, continuously says you have to pay attention to who is telling the story.
Right.
Yeah.
If this is being translated by Jacinia, where was Jacinia this entire book?
Where?
Where?
She's hearing it from someone.
What if Jacinia is like manipulating the entire text? We're only seeing it from one side.
Yeah. I don't know.
Oh, that's interesting.
That is interesting. I don't know.
What are your thoughts on the sage? I think he's a dreamwalker. What do y'all think?
Yeah,
Oh,
I
absolutely.
think he's a dreamwalker too, and that Violet shadows what he can do. But also, like I said, if Violet shadows him, he must be able to do something more than just dreamwalk, because I
Yeah.
think she can do something more than just
Right.
dreamwalk. So I think she shadows Theophany too.
But Lilith is Theophany's shadow or balance, right?
Well,
The balance, because she's the
Lilith-
storm wielder.
Lilith died, so her power had to be transferred to someone, right?
Someone else is going to have that signet. That's how it works.
Well, that's interesting.
Yeah. Well, okay. Did Violet's lightning manifest before Lilith died or after?
Before.
After.
But then who's Zayden's balance?
There was a
dude.
Oh, Berwyn.
Yeah, Berwyn.
No, Berwyn is
No,
the
it
sage.
wasn't.
It was an up and coming writer, I thought.
Oh, she's talking about Venom. Well, he's
Hold
the
on.
Venom.
only Venom that has the shadow.
I was going to say, and then the counterpart would be the
new guy
The new
yeah,
guy.
makes sense.
to show that he's going full Venom.
Who was it?
I don't remember.
It was just somebody random.
Do we ship
Okay.
Drake and Mira? Because I do.
I do.
Yeah, I do. Too.
Absolutely.
So one thing that I've been seeing a lot that I also kind of believe in is the relationship of the Fables with the three siblings to the
Yes.
Sword Girls.
Yeah.
Yes.
People swear, and like Rebecca thinks it's sus that we even think that Brennan is sus. Like she doesn't like that apparently.
No, Rebecca Brennan is absolutely sus.
He's sus.
He's
but
sus.
I think they're, and some people have said if it's not the Sorengales, what if it's the brothers of King Tark? But one of the brothers is already dead. I truly believe that there is so much reference to these fables that it has to have a connection to the Sorengales.
Oh, yeah.
And
Oh, yeah.
with Mira, if we ship that with Drake, is that her transitioning to the writer portion where, I don't know. I think it was interesting that she talked about after the power was siphoned to save Mira, why were there not any marks left on Brennan?
Right. And he had a rune on his hand, which is also sus Rebecca.
I think Nayland sees through it. I really do. That sounds crazy.
She hasn't given us more on runes since Iron Flame. So there's not much we know about runes and what they can do, other than they work when magic is not accessible. Some of them, because Mira took some to the islands when they left the continent.
I know we talked about this last podcast, but I just feel like it needs to make a little sprinkle in this podcast about Daddy Dane. Daddy Dane redeemed himself to us. We ship him and Sloan.
I ship him and Sloan. I will never ship him and Violet. People are like,
Oh, yeah, no.
all these Dane lovers now. They got on the. Okay, listen, let me tell you. One,
I
Dane,
never shipped him and Violet as soon as
Oh, I didn't
Zaddy
either. I
walked
just
into
liked
the
him.
picture.
He bothered me so bad because he continuously pushed for Violet, like, in the way that he was, which I think is why I was so annoyed with him the whole time. Seeing him with Sloan,
Yes.
I was like, okay.
Yes. We ship Dane and Sloan. We ship
Drake and Mira.
Dane Eyes on Me.
Absolutely.
We ship
Only
Drake
Eyes on
and
Me,
Mira. Not Fourth Wing Dane.
Absolutely not. Not even
Onyx
Iron
Storm
Flame
Dane.
Dane.
Iron Flame Dane tried. He was giving us a little glimpse into who he could be in Onyx Storm. But he redeemed himself in Onyx Storm.
I've liked him.
Absolutely.
I'm interested to see where Xaden started questioning his power towards the end of Onyx Storm, because he was like, you didn't say that out loud, or you didn't think it down the bond. And Violet was like, no. But he knew what she was thinking. Between him and Dane's power expanding, I'm curious to see what actually develops in the fourth book.
Yeah, I am too.
I just think there's so much. And I know a lot of people, when you look at those 1-star reviews, didn't we want to talk about some
that's
1-star
right.
reviews? I think people need to understand that this is a third book. So it's going to be that middle of the road where we're still building. We're still building into the plot.
There was
Nothing's gonna
so
come
much
to
world
fruition
building in this
yet.
book,
Oh my
too.
gosh, yes.
And also, this is just for fun.
I
love
4-starred it.
book. Yeah.
I did 4-star it because
I did 4-star.
the way she wrote the beginning, where she assumed that we knew all those people, which I think she did it on purpose because she was setting the stage for the rest of the book.
Yeah.
And she didn't have a lot of time to be like, these are all these people, because that would have been awful.
Yeah.
But
I
it was
just-
confusing to get into.
I just 4-starred it because I liked it. I just didn't like it as much as
other
Fourth
two.
Wing and Iron Flame. So I didn't want to give it a 5-star rating because I
No,
didn't think it was a
Nothing has
5-star book.
compared to Fourth Wing.
Right.
No,
Like,
no. I
But
know.
4 stars is still good. I still enjoyed it.
Oh, yeah.
Oh,
But we're
so
just going to
lovely.
read
Not
some
1-star.
funny.
All right, who wants to go first?
I need Imogen to use her powers and wipe all of my memories from
I
this.
saw that.
I love it. Like, these make me laugh.
Does anyone know how to rate a book lower than 1 star? Asking for myself.
This book feels like someone is trying to describe the color brown to me for 500
Stop.
I just
pages.
had that one.
The ones where people put hearts at the end where they're like, she is so brave for publishing.
This one says, the only good thing about this book is that it ends.
Stop. Not another 500-page Wattpad fic.
Well, this one says, Violet and Xaden giving that one couple in line at the amusement park that won't get off of each
Oh
other.
my God, but yes.
That is so funny.
I will say, though, we needed to see this part of Xaden, because Xaden
Yeah.
has been so closed off within this
Broody.
relationship and broody and
Yeah.
like, would never commit to it. And I think Violet didn't know what to do because he jumped in head first, but it was because And I'm telling y'all, Taylor Swift videos, these overlay with these like love of my life songs on there have been getting me still, even a month from here. Just the fact that he did all of these things knowing, because I think Art told him what was going to happen.
Look, I have one more that I threw in there for Brandon. Chat GPT is so bad at writing, but Rebecca Yaros is even worse.
Stop. Oh my gosh.
Because he has been using Chat GPT for everything.
Listen,
he used it for our Bible study the other night so we could understand it better.
That makes sense.
ChatGPT, though, and now that I know how to use it, is probably one of the best things for.
We literally typed in what the question was, and it like dumbed it down for us.
Yes.
And it was like, if you would like to know more about the Bible, please let me know. And I was like, I would. Thank you, ChatGPT.
Tell me about it. Tell me about
please
it. Please
tell me about it in words that I can understand.
So funny. Y'all got anything else?
I don't think so. I'm just giggling at these.
I know.
We'll catch us next week as we talk Quicksilver for our book club, and we will drop the new book that we'll be reading for March.
Yeah, for March. It's February's almost over, so it'll be for March. That's nuts. Crazy. It's a good book, so be sure you check it out.
So excited.
So. Yeah, we'll see you next time. Bye.
Bye, y'all.